looking live at Sold Out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Philadelphia Eagles. Why the Philadelphia Eagles 0-16? Because they suck. They've always sucked. They suck today, and they're always going to suck. The Eagles suck. And welcome to the Gridiron, everybody. Anybody out there at all? I'm going to spend a little bit of time with me here this night. I greatly appreciate it. Anybody spend any time at all watching any of the replay of this, once again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. It means the world to me. You guys rock. Thank you. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight, shoot my mouth off here. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free. Throw it in the chat box. I check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So if something goes in there, if I don't see it right away, I get to it. There we go. What's up, buddy? There you are. Hey. So just feel free. Fire away. Throw in the chat box. I'm more than happy to chat away with anybody here. Wants to spend some time with me. Going to Brian Daboll, right? The guy. It was the. Let me see. I want to get this right here. He got, after a stellar debut season as head coach that saw the team go 9-7-1 and win a wild card playoff game, Daboll has been named the NFC Coach of the Year as part of the 53rd Annual 101 Awards. The committee of 101 announced Tuesday. Okay. So I think there's also like Coach of the Year awards. I mean, he just maybe won, there's a bunch of awards out there. Okay, but he's the NFC Coach of the Year in the annual 101 awards. Okay, and I know there's also Coaches of the Year. So maybe he might get that as well too, which is possible. Let's see here. Daboll's first season with the Giants saw the team's record its first winning season in playoff berth since 2016. The press release stated. His 20 years of NFL coaching experience helped the Giants get off to a 6-1 start, also 7-2, right? Marking the best start for a Giants first-year coach since 1929, when Leroy Andrews had piloted the Giants to a 13-1-1 record, right? That was his first year. Let's see, he's also the 5th Giants head coach to lead his team to the playoffs in his debut season. Of the 3 first-time head coaches who made the playoffs in 2022, Daboll is the only one who advanced to the second round, right? So there were 3 coaches who made their head coaching debut, right, in 2022, and they went to the playoffs, okay? But they all got knocked out in the first round. Daboll was the only one who did not, okay? Daboll obviously beat the Vikings, and then we wound up losing to the Eagles, right? Daboll became the first Giants coach since 1993 to win his postseason debut, okay, which was back in 1993 was Dan Reeves. They beat the Vikings once again, oddly enough. They beat the Vikings 17-10. Dan Reeves, the 1993 Giants, they beat the Vikings 17-10 at home. Then they went on the road and they lost about 342,000-3 to the 49ers. It was just ungodly, horrible, just a killer of a game. It was the Giants get totally annihilated in that game. But let's see. The Daboll became the 4th coach in Giants history to win the award, which is great, joining Bill Parcells in '86 when the Giants went 14-2. Right? I mean, the Giants were far and away the best team in the league that year. 14-2. Bill, and obviously they won the Super Bowl that year. Dan Reeves in 1993, right? They got won the NFC Coach of the Year. Okay, 93. That was Dan Reeves' first year with the Giants. They were 11-5, and they lost. That year they won. They beat the Vikings in the playoffs. And then the next week they went on the road in San Francisco, and they just got totally 44-3, I think it was. It just I was Lawrence Taylor's last game as a Giant. 44-3, they wound up losing. And then Jim Fossil in 1997 also won this award too. That was his initial first season as coach. He took the Giants to the playoffs as well, but they lost in one of the most gut-wrenching. I mean, they were up by like 2 scores with 5 minutes to go to the Vikings, and the Vikings scored twice in the final 2 minutes of the game. They scored, and then they got an onside kick, and then they scored again, and they lost. The Giants lost 23-22. What an unbelievable gut-wrenching loss that one was. But Jim Fossil in 1997 won this award. It was his first season with the Giants. The Giants went 10-5 and won that year. Okay, their only tie was to the Redskins at the time. It was 7-7. They tied them. And they were 10-5 and 1. They wound up winning the division. So I mean, so Daboll was the 4th Giants coach to win. So we got Parcells in '86, Reeves in '93, Fossil in '97, and they are now Daboll after the 2022 season won this award. So it was the fourth Giants coach. So AFC Coach of the Year, Doug Peterson, without question. You can't. Says the full list of 2022 winners include the Offensive Player of the Year, Jalen Hurts, the NFC Offensive Player, Jalen Hurts. He's got the best offensive line. He's got 2 stud wide receivers. He's got a great tight end. I'm not. What he do? Yeah, great. Let's see Jalen Hurts behind the Giants offensive line with the Giants running. Let's see what Jalen Hurts can do then. Huh? Not much. Patrick Mahomes was the AFC Offensive Player of the Year. The NFC Defensive Player of the Year is Nick Bosa, and the AFC was Chris Jones. Yeah, the defensive, I guess tackle or whatever for the Chiefs. The winners will be presented with their awards at the 53rd Annual One Award Gala, scheduled for Saturday, February 25th in Kansas City. So he'll get the award next month. But nice to see. I mean, Daboll. I mean, it was close. I mean, I'm sure there was some other. Obviously he won it was the NFC he won. Okay. As I said, Peterson did a phenomenal job in Jacksonville, directed the team to the playoffs. They did, they did a very good job. They lost a tough game on the road. They certainly could have won. They had a chance that, they could have at least tied it up maybe. But, I mean, the Jacksonville really played well. The only thing was with Jacksonville, okay, is they were by far the least injured team in football. Had Jacksonville been injured as much as the Giants were injured, okay, Jacksonville would not be 9-8. I mean, by far, the Jacksonville Jaguars were the least injured team in all of football. So they had some luck on their side, okay. But I mean, as far as with Daboll, I mean, there was some other coaches. I'm sure obviously they got some consideration. Now I want to throw out Dan Campbell. I mean, he did a phenomenal job with the Detroit Lions. When was the last time the Lions, you put winning season and Lions in the same sentence, right? I mean, they were 9-8. Okay, they were 1-6 at one point. Okay, 1-6. So that means they went 8-2 in their last 10 games. They lost to Buffalo by 3 points, and they lost to the Carolina Panthers. Wow. So Carolina Panthers beat them. But, I mean, other than that, they beat the Vikings. I mean, they came in, they beat the Giants. They've killed the Giants. I mean, so Dan Campbell, he must have gotten certainly must have got some consideration. I mean, I said they started 1-6. It's the first time in their history that they had over 2,000 yards rushing and 4,000 yards passing. Now, granted, now there's 17 games. So as they play more and more games, more and more records are going to be broken. They start playing 20 games in a season. Of course, more and more passing records are going to be broken. The sack record's going to be broken. Everything's going to start. You start playing more and more games. It's just a matter of time for a lot of these records broke. But I mean, the Lions. I mean, Dan Campbell did it. I mean, the Lions had over 500 yards in a game 2 times this year. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 other times they had well over 400 yards of offense in a game. I mean, they scored over 40 points 2 times, 40 more, 40, no, I'm sorry, 3 times. 40 points or more 3 times. They scored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They scored over 30 points 5 times. I mean, they put up some points. They can move the ball. I mean, really, and we saw against the Giants. What did they get? They had 325 yards against the Giants. They had no turnovers. The thing that killed the Giants was the Giants had 3 turnovers. That's what killed the Giants in that game. But, I mean, against the Giants, they had 165 yards passing, 160 yards rushing. Very, very well-balanced team. But, I mean, they had a very, very good offense. If they can ever get that defense under control a little bit better, right, I mean, watch out for the Lions in the future. But, I mean, Dan Campbell certainly, without question, had to get some consideration for this. For this award, without question. Then if you also go to Shanahan too. I mean, what he's been doing. Let me count. I had it. Hold on. There we go. Is it 12 games? What the hell are they up to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 games. The San Francisco 49ers were 3-4. They lost to the Chiefs. Put them at 3-4. Okay. All they've done since then, they've won 12 games in a row. They've gone from 3-4 to 15-4. Now, I just hope, to sweet dear little baby Jesus, that the 49ers beat the Eagles this week. That's all I ask. That's all I want. If the Giants never win another football game, I just want the Eagles to get knocked out of the just lose. I do not want the Eagles to win the Super Bowl. I just get on my knees every night and pray to sweet dear little baby Jesus. Please have the Eagles lose. Please, please, please. This Sunday. I beg you, please. But I mean, you know what Shanahan has done. Okay, they're 15-4 now. They've won 12 games in a row. Okay. And the thing is, what makes it so impressive with Shanahan, okay, is that he's been there for years. Okay. They've done a very, very good job. Okay, without question. They got a very, very good defense. They got some weapons on offense, right? But they're doing it with a third string quarterback. Okay. It's kind of tough to go, you lose your first string, you lose your second string, and you go, kind of tough to have a third string quarterback in there. And he hasn't been there for 12 games in a row, Purdy. Okay. So don't get me wrong there. But I mean, he's won every game he's played in. Right? I don't know if he's up to 6 games or 7 games in a row, I think it is. Kind of tough for third string quarter. Mr. Irrelevant. Not like a third string quarterback who was taken in the first round. This guy's taken in like the last pick of the draft. That's how late this guy's been taken. Okay. And they just keep winning. They just keep winning, right? So that's some pretty impressive coaching. Now, I mean, you're taking your good talent, all right, and they win 12 games in a row. They're in the NFC Championship game once again. Okay, they beat the Cowboys once again, right, with a third string quarterback. Very, very impressive. I mean, Shanahan, without question, is a phenomenal coach. I mean, that guy works some miracles. The guy's a very, very good coach. So I'm sure he must have got some consideration for this award as well, too. But it didn't go to them. It went to our coach, Brian Daboll, right? Very, very well deserved. I mean, without question. I mean, what he was able to do, okay? As I said, this is the first year for him, all right? They're coming in, right? The Giants had no salary cap space whatsoever. They're bit with Mark Lewinsky. That was their big splurge, okay, in the salary cap. That's all. It was like $6 million a year. Okay, 3 years, $18 million. I think they can get out after 2 years. Okay, but that was their big splurge, and their other. You can't call it a big splurge. I mean, the big transaction was to let James Bradbury go so they could save money so they could sign the draft class. That was right. So unfortunately, that's another reason why the Eagles are where they're at. It's because of Dave Gettleman, we had to let Bradbury go. Right? If we were able to keep Bradbury, right, the Eagles wouldn't have 2 good cornerbacks. The Eagles may not be quite where they're at right now. And another one of the reasons why the Eagles are where they're at. I mean, they just got phenomenal players. But I mean, where Daboll's at, what he's been able to do. All right, as I said, I mean, we had a lot of draft picks. Okay. But the thing is that with the draft picks, half the draft picks, right? All right, McKeithen, Zudu, Wan'Dale Robinson, Darian Beavers, and Davidson, right? Almost half of our we had 11 draft picks, almost 5 of them, 5 of 11 are gone for the season, right? We'll be getting those guys back next year, right? Including, also, to add 2, McFadden, right? Kayvon, Evan Neal, so I mean, Daniel Bellinger, so we'll be adding, those guys will be getting back. We should be getting, I think 11 draft picks. We should be getting some comp picks. We have 9. We should be getting additional because we have our 7, right? That we had, getting 2 from the Chiefs for the Tony trade. We should be getting 2 comp picks, I believe, right? So we should have 11 picks this year, okay? And then our salary cap space should be very, very, very good situation. If we let Kenny Golladay go after June 1st, we'll save, I think it's 12 million, 13 million. If we cut them before June 1st, which we're not, we'd only save 6 million, 6.7, something like that. So if we cut them after June 1st, right, we'll be at, we'll be over like 13 million or something we'll save. If we can extend Leonard Williams' contract, because next year is his last year, okay, we extend him, add a couple of years more to his contract, but bring his cap hit next year is 32 million. Bring that down to, I don't know, whatever. And you can bring it down even, I'm saying bring it down to 20, and then you can give him like a sign-in bonus where he gets money up front, but you can take that sign-in bonus and spread that out over a few years. I mean, you can bring his cap hit down to like half of what that 32 is, and save a bunch more. So I mean, the Giants mean very, very good cap space next year, but we have to do a bunch of sign a bunch of our own guys back. But getting back to this year, I mean, the Giants, we had the 2 top 7 picks, which was huge. I mean, Evan Neal had a rough season. It's kind of tougher, I mean, guys, obviously, without question, offensive linemen, without question, come out of college, first years in the pro, and do very well, without question. Okay, unfortunately for the Giants, Andrew Thomas and Evan Neal don't fit under the right. One of the problems with Andrew Thomas was, when his first year, he was, he had problems with his ankles and his feet. He had his second year problems with his ankle and his feet. Right, he had to have surgery. Right. You see we reaping the rewards in the third year. Andrew Thomas, phenomenal, fantastic season, and hopefully he's only going to keep getting better. Right, keeps working on his craft. Right. Evan Neal was the same thing. I mean, he did not step right out of college. Right, lined him up in right tackle, and he dominated. He had some good games. He had some bad games. He one of his problems, obviously, he had a problem with his knee. Kind of tough to play tackle in the NFL at an elite level. Okay, if you got a problem with your knee, right? Hopefully he rests up and hopefully he'll be good to go next season, right? He'll work on his craft in the off season. Hopefully next year he'll take a step forward, right? He may not be an all-pro next year or nothing, but can he take a step forward, right? That would be huge for the Giants, right? So, I mean, we had a couple really high draft picks. We got Wan'Dale Robinson we drafted, but then he got hurt, right? Sterling Shepard, right? And then he got hurt. Kadarius Toney, another high draft pick, and then he was always hurt, and then we just traded him, right? Kenny Golladay, I don't know if you're ever going to find out exactly what the true reason is why they did not play him, right? Whether he was maybe, didn't earn his reps in practice. Maybe he was still always a little banged up. I mean, why he was never on the field for more than, 2 snaps in a game. I don't know if you're ever going to find out. But I mean, what Daboll was able to do, right, with, the lack of offensive firepower, and win games, we won a lot of close games, but also what he was able to do also with Daniel Jones as well, right? Now, I mean, you start looking at what Daniel Jones, now his numbers Daniel Jones may not have gone off the charts, okay, but his completion percentage was very, very good. His interceptions plummeted big time. I'm not talking about the Eagle game. I'm just talking basically during the regular season. I mean, the amount of turnovers he had, way down. Now, you also say, right, what Daboll left Buffalo, right? Josh Allen, his turnovers. Off the charts. So maybe a little bit of the Daboll effect there, right? Josh Allen doesn't have Daboll there no more, right? I mean, a lot of people will consider him Buffalo to win the Super Bowl. Well, they'll be on the couch with the Giants watching the champion. Buffalo didn't make the championship game, right? They almost lost to the Dolphins in the first round of the playoffs at home, right? So, so Buffalo is, but I mean, Daboll, what he was able to do with the offense, right? And Kafka as well, too. Kafka's got a second interview with the Houston Texans, but the Houston Texans are interviewing a bunch of people as well, too. So just because Kafka's got a second interview does not mean he's got the job. There's other guys that the Houston Texans want to interview as well, too, but they're in the championship game. One of them is the defensive coordinator for the Eagles. There's a couple other guys that they want to interview, but they can't interview them again for a second time, the Texans, because they're in their championship game. Okay, so once the championship game, I guess if they go to the Super Bowl, they have to wait till after the Super Bowl. So, I mean, so Kafka's going to get a second interview. Okay, but that doesn't mean he's getting the job, right? So we'll have to wait and see. But I mean, so basically getting back to Daboll, what he was able to do. All right. I mean, just, the first game of the season, you go up against Tennessee, right? 21-20. I mean, obviously we certainly could have lost that game if their kicker made that field goal at the end of the game. Then we beat another close one against the Panthers. We were beating the Cowboys 13-10, I believe it was. Is that what it was? Was it 13-10? Saquon scored that touchdown. Was it a 30-yard run? What the heck was it? How far was it? 36. My bad. I'm sorry. 13-6. And then with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter, we're up 13-6, and then we give up 20 points to the Cowboys in basically the next 15 minutes. The Giants gave up 3 scores to the Cowboys. I'm sorry. What did they give up? 1. They gave up 6. They gave up 17 points. They gave up 3 scores to the Cowboys basically in the last 15 minutes. So, but I mean, they were beating the Cowboys with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter, and all of a sudden, their defense did admirable, but all of a sudden their offense just couldn't score no more, right? Then we beat the Bears at home. I mean, there wasn't nothing superhuman, but I mean, the thing is that, when you're playing a team that's maybe not phenomenal, like the Bears, right? Maybe you're not phenomenal, but what do you got to do? You got to win. you got to beat them. That's what they did. Then they went to London. They played the Packers, and they won. They beat Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Right? They somehow managed to wind up at home, beat the Ravens. Right? 24-20. I mean, that was Kayvon. He got the strip at the end of the game. Leonard Williams fell on the fumble, right? They stripped the ball from Lamar Jackson. I mean, what a great game that one was. I mean, exciting win that they had. I mean, that was a really exciting game Giants had. But it was just a lot of close games. But if you're a good team, you find ways to win those close games. Now, in the past, I mean, a lot of times, maybe with Shermer, right? Or Joe Judge, a lot of times we were in close games. When we were in close games, we found ways to lose them. Well, this year, we found ways to win them. I mean, we had the one game that we lost to the Vikings, 27-24, but it had to be on a 61-yard field goal that beat us. But the one thing was that we beat ourselves in that game, right? And when you're, an up-and-coming team, you can't beat yourselves, right? You have to have the other team beat you. Well, when we played the Vikings, the Giants beat themselves, okay? But, I mean, as I said, is that when you're playing other teams that maybe aren't so good, right? What do? You beat them. Now we lost to the Lions, but we had 3 huge turnovers in that game, which really, really hurt us. We outgained the Lions 413 to 320. We had almost 100 yards more than the Lions in that game, but we had 3 huge turnovers, which kind of did us in. We beat the Texans at home, but the Texans are not a good team. So what do you do against a good team? You're at home. What do you do against a team that's not very good? You beat them. That's what the Giants did. Didn't beat them by 30. We beat them by 8. But that's all you want. Then, of course, we went on the road. The Thanksgiving game. What was it? 13-6. We were beating them at half. Of course, then the wheels kind of fell off in the second. What was it? 13-7. Then, of course, we only scored 1 touchdown in the second half. Of course, but that came with no time left. I mean, so we were up from 13-7, and then the Cowboys scored 3 touchdowns, and with 8 seconds left to go in the game, we scored a touchdown. A feel-good touchdown. But still, on the road against the Cowboys, we lost by 1 score. Right? I mean, the Cowboys are, a developed team. They got a lot of stars on that team, right? They're not rebuilding. They're in the win now mode, okay? And we held our own 2 times against them. We were beating them both times. At halftime, we were beating them in the Thanksgiving game. And with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter, the first time we were playing, we were beating them, right? Just couldn't hold on to it. Then we had the Lions. We lost to the Lions. We tied the Commanders. We could have beat the Commanders. Graham Gano's field goal falls a little short there right at the end. Then, of course, we got totally annihilated by the Eagles. Then we were back on the road against a huge game against the Commanders. What do we do? We won. Commanders not a phenomenal team. We won on the road. It was a big, 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 big game. What did we do? We won, right? Next game we play against the Minnesota Vikings. We beat our Vikings won. Obviously, all the kudos in the world and credit and everything to the Vikings, but we beat ourselves. The block, punt, and 2 turnovers were huge. Cost the Giants the game, right? We had big game, win and you're in at home against a weak opponent, right? Win and you're in against the Colts. What do? We annihilate them, right? Really annihilate them. Then we obviously then the game we rested all our players against the Eagles. Somehow our backups only lost by 6 points to the Eagles. Then we put our starters in against their starters, and we wound up losing by 31 points. Go figure. But I mean, then we went on the road, right? Went on the road against a team that we know we could have beaten, and we went on the road and we beat them, right? I mean, so we were 9-7-1. Okay, it was a nice schedule. Okay, this upcoming season is going to be a little more difficult. Okay, because we're playing some better divisions. But it was a nice, nice schedule for the Giants. But we went from 4-13 to 9-7-1. Yeah. Now, does that mean we're going to be 11-6, 12-5 next year? No. I mean, we could be 9-7-1 too. I mean, we could be the same, right? We might take a step back. Who knows? But I mean, without question, what Daboll was able to do. I mean, you figure our top 4 wide receivers basically didn't contribute to the team. I said, if you go to any other team, go to the Eagles, okay? Take their top 4 wide receivers at the beginning of the season. They're gone. You can't. So A.J. Brown can't play with them. DeVonta Smith can't play with them. And their next 2. Take those top 4 wide receivers to the Eagles. Sorry, can't use them. Let's see how you do. They're not winning. They're not going to a Super Bowl, right? But I mean, I'm saying, one of the things he was able to do with lack of offensive firepower, right? We got our rear ends handed to us a couple games, but that also gives us a blueprint of what we need to do, right, to be able to compete against the big boys, right? So we're going to have some healthy salary cap here. We're going to have to sign some of our own players. It'll also help show us the direction, we want to do as far as, who we want to draft. Maybe bring in a nice little free agent here or there, and maybe we can use another cornerback. We need a wide receiver, obviously. Somebody in the interior offensive line, if we can beef that up every year, maybe we got Thomas and we got Neal, right? Add somebody up, maybe draft a nice center. You don't need a center in the first round, but you can get a nice center in the second. We got 2 third-round picks. Maybe pick a center maybe in the third round, a true center who you can put in there and just right. We can always use some more pass rush. That you know what I mean. They may tag Barkley and trade him. They do. They definitely aren't paying him. Yeah, I'm hearing I keep saying, you don't know how many of the reports are true or not, but I'm seeing 16 million. Is that what he wants? I mean, I see they offered him 12, but he wants 16. So I mean, once again, some of those stuff you don't know how true it is. People like to make stuff up just so they can read the article and stuff like that. So I don't know. But I mean, I said I'm reading they offered him 12, but he wants closer to 16. Yeah, if they can tag him for 10 and a half, that would be a heck of a deal. Yeah. And hey, want to tag him and trade him. I mean, get something for him. See, the nice thing about that, if you tag him for like that, right, you can get some suitors. I mean, it's going to be hard. I mean, I don't know how many teams are going out there going to want to sign him for $16 million. I mean, guy gets injured a lot. Might have had a good game, a good season this year without question. But I don't know how many teams are going to want to sign him for 15 or 16 million. But I mean, if you can tag him for that, right, and if they were going to trade him and get something in return for him, right? But all I keep hearing is that if they're going to sign him or something, his deal is going to be kind of tricky. It's going to be kind of tricky. I think that if anything, they were trying to sign Daniel Jones something, whatever, 4 or 5 year, whatever. They could try to get him a normal type of contract. But the Saquon Barkley, that one might be kind of tricky. A lot of running backs on this draft. I saw somebody posted something on Facebook. I mean, we got Ahmad Bradshaw in the 7th round from Marshall. Look how well he did. We got Brandon Jacobs. I can't remember what was 3rd round. I mean, the dude's a freaking beast. I mean, 3rd, 4th round. We didn't get Tiki Barber's not a 1st rounder. You don't need. I mean, you don't need a 2nd rounder to pick running back to win a Super Bowl. I mean, I've seen I don't know how many YouTube videos out there. I mean, if you start looking back, and I even did one as far as running like teams winning Super Bowls. Like what their running backs are. I mean, a lot of teams win Super Bowls, especially now the pass happy league. I mean, the running backs aren't 1st rounders. The wide receivers are, the quarterbacks might be, right? But the running backs aren't. You don't need. Would I like to have Saquon? Oh yeah, he's phenomenal. He's an ambassador for the team. Phenomenal player, teammate, all that, everything, phenomenal. But I mean, if he wants too much, it's you don't need a $16 million a year running back. I mean, you can get like a couple for half that price, and you can have like two nice running backs. Jake's a 5th round, okay, same draft as Bradshaw. Was it 5th round? Yeah. Jacob's problem was he got injured a lot because he would just run so hard. He would just try to run through and over everybody. He would wind up getting banged up a lot. Now he wasn't the same draft as Bradshaw. Bradshaw was in 2007. Jacobs was before that because Jacobs played with Tiki Barber. Tiki Barber retired after 2006, and Jacobs and Barber played together. So Brandon Jacobs was 2004, 2005, maybe 2006, somewhere around there. Are you looking it up? But Jacobs and Tiki Barber, that was kind of like a thunder and lightning kind of thing. We had Ron Dane and Tiki Barber in the early 2000s. Then Dane, he went to, I think, Denver. And then we drafted Jacobs. And then they had Jacobs and Tiki. And then after 2006, I feel bummed out for Tiki, because if Tiki played one more season, he would have got himself a Super Bowl. But there was Tiki and Jacobs, and then Tiki left, and then we had Jacobs. We had Ward, we had Jacobs, and we drafted Bradshaw. I mean, you have Ward, Ahmad Bradshaw, and Jacobs. Man, what a threesome we had there. Oh, he was. Oh yeah, he was a giant all through and through. Oh man, we were so lucky. And it was like 6'5", what was it, 250 or something? Oh my God. But that was his problem. He was just such a freaking beast. And he would just try to run over guys. It worked, but he would just injure himself a lot. I mean, it's tough just to run over guys and just stomp on them. You know, I mean, it's without getting injured. And that was one of his problems. He would just try to beat guys up, but he would want to beat himself up. You know what I mean? It was a shame. 260. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh yeah. He was unbelievable. And then you figure you put all that, the helmet on him and all the equipment and everything. I mean, he had to be 280. I mean, with the cleats and all that stuff. And I mean, could you imagine it? Like a full head of steam trying to stop somebody like 280, 290 pounds? Could you imagine? Whew, wow. I mean, it's just, he was bigger than almost all the defensive players, But yeah, we had some really good running backs back then. Really, I mean, I said with Tiki, Mike Bradshaw, Ward. I mean, he was a very, very good running back. When we had Jacobs, we really, really good. But I'm saying, we went to 2000. We went to the Super Bowl with Tiki, right? He wasn't the first rounder, right? I mean, Ahmad Bradshaw, but Jacobs, the guys weren't first round picks. You don't need them. I said I'd love to have Saquon, but. If he wants too much. I remember the game he ran over Ray Lewis' face in 2008. Oh yeah. Oh, that was great. We were at home. It's a shame that year we beat the Ravens. We went on the road and beat the Cardinals. We went on the road and we beat the Steelers. We were the best team in football. And then Plexico shoots himself in the leg. We won the next game because Plexico shoots himself in the leg, so his season was over. So we went on the road the next week. We beat the Redskins. So I'm like, okay, maybe our season isn't over. Okay. And then after that, the season just went down. We beat Carolina, one of the last game of the season, I think it was. So we became the number 1 seed, I think it was. But we lost to the Eagles. And after Plexico shot himself in the leg, it was like our offense just went downhill. But we were the best team in football in 2008. Oh, yeah, that game against the Ravens, that was a statement game. Oh, yeah. We showed them. Oh, yeah. Their defense. Oh, yeah. That's a shame. We should have won back-to-back Super Bowls. Yeah. Yep. Beat the Steelers on the road. Yep, we beat the Cardinals on the road. Those two teams went to the Super Bowl, but we beat both of those teams on the road. Yeah, oh yeah, I remember we beat the Steelers. Their long snapper got injured, and then what wound up happening is the next time they brought a backup long snapper in. I think he snapped the ball over the punter's head, and it got a safety for the Giants. Brandon Jacobs, I'll swear to this day, I'll swear to the day I die that he got stopped at the goal line on 4th down. I swear to the day I die, the ball crossed the line, but there was no definitive view. They reviewed it, and they said no touchdown. I swear to the day I die, he got the ball over the line, but they stopped. Apparently, they stopped him like a half an inch short of the ball getting to the goal line. So the Giants should have had another touchdown in that game. But so we should have beat the Eagles by even more. What do we got? I was at that game. We were down 31-14 to Carolina. Yeah, 10 degrees last night. Oh, yeah. To win the number. Yeah, that was Ward. He was at over 200 yards rushing. Oh, that was a really good game. I mean, whether you're a Giant fan or a Carolina fan, just the excitement in the air. That was a playoff game. I mean, you got to give Carolina. Carolina was a very good team that year too. Got to give them a lot of credit. But that was a heck of a game. Heck of a game. Oh yeah, Ward went off running that game. Oh yeah, it just goes to show you how well the running backs we were. I mean, it was a shame because we had Monty Toomer, right? And we got Steve Smith, we had Plaxico, right? And then we had don't forget Jeremy Shockey, right? Jeremy Shockey breaks his leg in 2007. That's the last time he played for the Giants. Plaxico Burress in 2008 shoots himself in the leg. He's gone with the Giants. I mean, Steve Smith had a couple really good seasons, and he gets injured, and then he was. I mean, the Giants had some really good offensive talent, especially in the wide receiver / tight end back then. I said Shockey broke his leg against the Redskins in 2007. Kevin Boss came in to take his spot, and Shockey was gone. I mean, it's just a shame because we had some really good talent back then. They blew out our chance at Dynasty. Oh yeah, I mean, oh yeah. I mean, we Michael Strahan retired after 2007. After 2006, Tiki retired, right? So we had some of our best players of all time. They retired, right? And we were still dominating. Oh yeah. I mean, if we remember, we had Shockey, and Plaxico didn't shoot himself. I mean, man. And obviously in 2011, we were good enough to win the Super Bowl once again. Oh yeah, we're heading for 15-1 and repeat. Yep, nope. Oh no, oh yeah, no. The offensive line, that was the beauty of it. They're the same guys every week. Nobody got injured. Nobody, right? You had McKenzie, you had Snee, you had O'Hara, you had Seibert, whatever, and Deal. Same 5 guys every week. There was no, so-and-so injured his knee, he'll be out this week. So-and-so injured his pec, he'll be out. No. Same 5 guys. They just kept every week, kept playing. And then of course, you had Eli Manning, right? But he was in the same offensive system, so he was getting comfortable, right? Luckily, we kept bringing in decent wide receivers. We had Nix in that area. We had Manningham, Mr. Cruz, the salsa, right? With Steve Smith, he had a phenomenal season, of course, and he got injured. Toomer, Plaxico, Jeremy Shockey. I mean, these guys are soft today. It's unbelievable. It really is. I mean, some of these guys. I mean, Kadarius Toney. I mean, I don't wish nothing bad on the guy, not like that. But I mean, come on, man. I mean, really. I mean, I can't even talk about some of these guys. They just infuriate me so much. I mean, it really is unbelievable. I mean, some of these guys today. I mean. Out 4 to 6 weeks. I mean, how many times? Kadarius Toney out. I mean, Wan'Dale Robinson. I mean, he got injured against the Tennessee. I think he caught one pass for 5 yards, and he got injured, and he was out for a while. I mean, Sterling Shepard. I mean, I love the guy to death. I hope they re-sign him. Really hope they sign the guy on the cheap. But I mean, the guy can't even run a pass pattern without boom, he popping his ACL. What happened? He ran 10 yards. What? Nobody touched him. What's going on? What? Why is he laying on the ground? Well, why is there a stretcher coming out? I mean, it really is. It's freaking amazing. Tony, I did videos calling him a clown. Yeah. Well, maybe not. I was going to say that clown might be working his way into a Super Bowl, but we'll have to see. I think the Bengals are going to have maybe a little something to say about that. Demanded Parsons for 2 years. Yeah, we passed on him. Yeah, I know. Could you imagine? Oh man, could you imagine if we had Parsons on one side, Leo, Lion, Sexy Dexy, like Kayvon or Azeez. Man, could you imagine? Or could you imagine the rotation if we had like Parsons, Azeez, and Kayvon? Imagine those three guys just rotating in and out. Man, could you imagine Parsons being on his team? Wow. Or at Parsons being like the inside linebacker. The dude can freaking fly anywhere. Could you imagine that? And we have Azeez, Kayvon, Leonard Williams, Sexy Dexy, and Micah Parsons. And oh man. And then could you imagine like if our salary cap was better and we were able to hold on to Bradbury? We had Adoree Jackson and Bradbury and Micah Parsons, Kayvon, Azeez, Leonard Williams, Sexy Dexy, Julian Love, right? And Xavier McKinney. Oh man, we'd have a good defense. Whew, wow. Good defense. Yeah, messed. He wanted to. Yeah. See, I don't know. There was a lot of talking going on, crap leaking out that we wanted DeVonta Smith. I mean, other than that, why would the Eagles jump up and make a deal with the Cowboys, right? Why would they do that? I mean, something must have leaked out. I mean, it would have been nice if we would have gotten DeVonta Smith. I mean, you got to give DeVonta Smith a lot of credit. A lot of credit. I mean, he's a great athlete, this, that, and other, but he's healthy. The guy plays, I mean, the guy, he might have missed maybe a little time this year. I'm not exactly sure, but I mean, the guy's healthy. Shame that we, it is a shame we didn't want him getting. I don't know if somebody was talking and that's why the Eagles jumped us, maybe, but I mean, it would have been nice if we got DeVonta. I mean, because now you're talking, right? If you have like Sterling Shepard and you got DeVonta Smith, maybe as I said, maybe we can go out and get another one like the Eagles do with Brown. I mean, the dude's a freaking beast, an absolute beast, right? I mean, could you imagine what we could do then? With the offensive mindset of Daboll, right? Would be phenomenal, but I mean, we that's something we have to get. We have to get somebody on the offense, a wide receiver. We got to get somebody. Good stuff. Enjoy listening to you. Yeah, you too. I'm going to sign off. It's been 47 minutes, but it's great. It's great talking to somebody. Instead of me just shoot my mouth off. It's nice. It's nice to talk to somebody. So I'll be back again, and hopefully, I'm sure I'll see you again there. But good talking to you. Thank you. All right, guys. Well, anybody spent any time watching any of this, or anybody spends any time at all watching a replay, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. It's been almost 48 minutes, and I'm going to start signing off, but I'll be back. And to Coach Brian Daboll, congratulations, NFC Coach of the Year. Well deserved. And as always, guys, you guys stay safe out there, and go Giants! Woo!